They cannot. Oh, they can hear me now. Okay, I think they can hear me now. Okay, they can hear me now. The thing just did not click for some reason. AR, you try talking. They cannot hear you, so I will pull this up and see what we can get here. AR, try talking. That did not work. AR, try talking.
How about now?
There we go. They haven't responded yet, but I can see the bars, so I'm reasonably sure they can hear you. So talk for a bit so we can confirm.
Okay, I don't want to talk extemporaneously for however long it is.
There we go. I'm reasonably sure they can hear you now. It's very odd. For weeks, OBS will not have any issue with me not setting up the podcast without my headset plugged in, and then randomly it will just decide, oh, that input and output does not exist anymore because it's not plugged in. And I do it every week, exactly the same, and it is 100% a coin flip whether it works or not. Okay, let's see. You ready to go?
I think so.
Okay. We'll let you choke to death first.
Yeah. Get that out of my system.
Welcome to the With the Will podcast. We're here to entertain, inform it while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, I run With the Will and produce Digimon on Blu-ray.
I'm AR Pulver, and I will never take care of a plant again.
And we've just received a note that there may be an echo. So talk for a moment, AR.
Okay. We're gonna re-record the intro or something.
We'll see. I
Okay.
am not getting any echo, and we'll wait to see what chat says beyond one person, and then we will go and redo it.
Riveting stuff if you're not listening live.
We'll probably just redo the intro. Okay, apparently there is no echo. I wonder if they were just hearing your cough echoing. Okay. Okay, people are saying no echo. Let's just go ahead and do that again. Welcome to the...
Take 3.
It went so perfect the first time. Welcome to the With the Will podcast. We're here to entertain, inform it while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, I run With the Will and produce Digimon on Blu-ray.
I'm AR Pulver, and I will never take care of a plant again.
Oh, did you kill a plant, AR?
No, I watched last week's episode.
And
I'm good. I'm done. Done.
Dev is
not that I was ever into horticulture or gardening before, but nope, not happening now.
Are you scared of the toothpick it uses to attack people?
That toothpick was really... I did not like the toothpick. That was like the freakiest part, was the toothpick.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Dev is a touch under the weather and does not feel like talking, even though she wanted to. And I believe she also said a migraine, I think.
Yes. That
Yeah.
was the cause.
Well, she had mentioned me earlier that she didn't want to make any sounds. Then later she added migraine to it, so it may have been a misunderstanding on my part, or it may be multiple things. We expect the return of Dev last week, or for her to just jump in the middle of the podcast would not actually be that shocking.
It's happened before.
Yeah. At least this time we're actually prepared for it. The first time that happened, neither of us actually knew someone could join a Discord group call in the middle of it.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So first up, new Ghost Game. It's weird because the episode feels like it tried to do stuff right. I just didn't feel that happy with it.
It did all of the flourishes and extra stuff and things we have literally been complaining about for several weeks early on in the season right, and then got the really basic stuff horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah, it was kind of. It had moments, but it also felt very boring and slow outside of those handful of moments.
It was a it was a hunter's episode, is how
Yeah,
I
what
describe
was
it.
especially weird was I didn't realize until Yuto said something. It's like, oh, he actually knows Hiro. I thought he had just tracked down someone he saw in a photo.
Yeah, that. Well, I mean, that was, yeah. You figure that out is like, oh, the hero's in the background, so I have a connection to this random YouTuber who's looking for
But he doesn't
crazy
act.
stuff
But he
to.
doesn't actually say that until a bit later, when it's made clear that he actually
Yeah,
knows Hiro.
yeah.
I thought
It's
it was what's happened before, which is which we've seen a few times. Someone sees a photo of Hiro and goes, "I'm going to track that kid down."
what it boils down to in this episode is Yuto is a really crap personality devoid character that we do not care any inch about. And if they had put the attention on, I'd say honestly, if they put the stalking target on Hito or Rudy, this episode's
Well,
way way
no. See,
better.
here's the thing. I don't think you actually need it to be Hiro or Ruli. They both have friends we've met before who
Yeah, that would work too.
like maybe
I
they're
mean,
not
that was Hito's. Yeah, what about Hito's horny friend? Give
yeah,
him some attention.
but like
That would work
but
okay.
like not completely fleshed out characters, but people we've met and have some idea about. Then you can throw
Some
into
sort of
stuff.
established relationship to the characters already, rather than having to introduce this one character and not do a very good job of it.
Yeah,
Like, they don't make Yuto compelling in the least.
yeah. And I will say I like Ruli deciding it's an adventure of Team Liverun.
Yeah. Like that's the weird thing is like the trio, they're fine in this episode.
Yeah,
Like Rudy's pretty good in this episode. Kiyoshiro's great in this episode. They got a lot of things right, but they put it all around Yuto
yeah.
and it just crashes.
The best usage of Yuto was effectively something that has nothing to do with him. When it's pointed out, well, if it has something to do with him, why are his parents fine? And of course, I don't think they actually answer that. I mean, we know why, but did they actually give an answer to that?
You don't harm the in-laws. You kiss up to the in-laws.
Exactly.
That was my
Yeah.
logic.
I'm Ajatarmon worked fine for me. My
Yeah, yeah.
The main issue I have, I don't understand what the point of the quote was.
Yeah, that was a little the
Like,
go well bit, or
yeah, like
yeah,
the episode puts emphasis on it, the social media stuff puts emphasis on it, but it doesn't seem to
it doesn't pop
like
at all.
they try and make it pop at the end by just going, "Oh, it will go well," but it's like, well,
I think that was just another way to force a connection between the robot and Ajatarmon,
I guess it was
even though
weird.
it wasn't like that was pretty easy to figure out very quickly.
Yeah,
So I don't think that was necessary, but maybe that was something else that was.
maybe. Um, I like Jellymon not letting them use the digital space. That actually was, I think, the first time that's been mentioned.
Yeah,
Like they can't
yeah,
force a normal person into it at all, so that just makes him a bigger target.
yeah. Yeah, like that's like you said. Some of this corrects a lot of
Yeah,
issues. Like
there's a lot of there's a lot
the
of
ending was fantastic,
there's a
but
lot of
it
good
just
stuff in the episode. It's just the pieces do not gel.
yeah, like you still have to have an interesting basic story
And
behind it,
you're at
and
you're
this
at
just
you're
doesn't
at
deliver.
and you're actually right. As much as I tend to skew to using one of Ruli's friends to give her a reason to be more gung ho,
Sure.
if you throw in Hero's horny friend, whose name I don't recall, it actually puts the episode together better without anything else being done.
Yeah, no, that works for sure. I've got his name written down somewhere, but I don't know if I care that much.
Yeah,
Kotaro. Kotaro.
there we go. Kiyoshiro, we get the body horror pain plant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That
weird.
was
It's weird. That's like the focus of the episode, and I sort of don't care because,
I
like, it.
yeah. I mean, I'm all here for Kiyoshiro body horror. Like
Yeah.
that's great. Like go
You
ahead,
you know you you know why I think
turn
I
this
don't
into
care.
turn this
You
into Made in
you
Abyss.
know
I
you
don't.
know.
It's great.
Okay, the reason why I think I don't care was it's interesting. I think all the social media posts have decided it's far more interesting than it is, so it's just kind of boring at this point to even think about.
A little bit. I mean, they've clearly done this kind of content. That's like Ghost Game is not afraid to go there. We've established this by now, so they almost have to. It almost seems like an obligation to deliver it every once in a while, which I approve of. Like I could do this kind of thing every episode, but
And then
yeah,
we
like
get
just don't make it out to be bigger than it actually is. Because in
yeah.
this episode, it just given how bad the main plot was, it just sort of felt gratuitous.
I liked Adatar Charm. I'm not gonna say that name correct once.
Which name?
Aja Tarman.
Ajtaramon?
For some reason,
I think I misspelled it on my blog.
I always try to put the T first.
Yeah, the same. It's a
Yeah, so
weird.
yeah, so I think the character worked. Oddly, this is a time when I think having it be a two-parter probably would have worked better. As much as like very little happens.
I could. I never want to see Yuto again, and giving him a second
Oh, here
episode.
no, here's the thing.
No.
I'm saying in theory. I'm
Oh,
not I'm not
if we were to go with your plan and make it Hero's horny
yeah.
friend, that
Well, no,
would
no, no,
be.
no, no. I took that from you. You said that first. I took that from you because I thought that was better than my idea of one of Ruli's friends,
Oh,
which they've sort of
yeah.
forgotten that they were going to like
They
keep an
had
eye
there
on
was
her. They for
last we saw them. They had they there was something they were like there's some sort of underlying development going on with them. That wasn't even the last time we saw them. They
so
showed up
the one the one
in
thing the one thing I'll say
one
is
of the
I
episodes.
won't harp on that being too long ago because of the break. It's mentally very hard to gauge when some stuff happened.
Yeah,
S
they showed up briefly in the Dark Rizamon Saberdramon episode, so it's not
yeah,
even the last time we saw them.
yeah. And hey, Mummymon doesn't show up again, but he's mentioned.
And that's another thing. That's another thing they got totally right.
Hey, yeah, having
They
Mummymon
didn't
do it.
leave the bad guy to just decide, you know what, my bad, I'll fix everyone's I'll magically correct
And they
all the
kill her in a
damage
great way. They kill her in a great
Yeah.
way.
Oh yeah,
Her,
totally. But they make Mummymon fix the problems. Like
yes,
they actually make the good guys undo the damage themselves, rather than
yes,
it's the bad guy just showing some charity for no
yeah.
reason at the last second.
And I actually thought the moment where she's like, okay, it's not going to work. I'm going to become human. And just starts ripping the stuff off. And
Mm,
then bleh, that's it.
absolutely disturbing. I love it.
Yeah, that worked great. It just
Horrifying.
followed.
Horrifying. Give us more.
It just followed an episode that doesn't matter. And then of
Yeah.
course they go from this moment to Angormon being puffy, Gamamon looking at flowers, and Yuto staring at the robot. Which I don't know what like he's had the robot. I get that, but it's not like he even knew this thing existed. Like
Don't start Yuto, don't start reciprocating now.
he's pining after something he only knew about for an hour. And for the entire few days before that, when he was wondering if something was going on, it was because his friends were being horribly fucked up. And
It
now
was
he's like
maybe
sadly looking.
it's like yeah, like maybe I was too hard on the horrifying plant monster.
It's like a weird Stockholm syndrome thing.
Ah, go away, Yuto, never
Yeah.
show up again.
And we end, as mentioned, Jellymon being stabbed. stabbing Kiyoshiro, as
Yep.
you would expect.
It's yeah. We're
It
back to square one,
so
and we're
here's
happy.
one of the interesting and it's sad that we've brought this up before. If it were not a weekly grind series, this may have been a more interesting episode with minimal changes.
Mm, I
Minimal.
don't
I
know
say
because
now.
yeah,
Minimal may be unfair to say because even the stuff we've suggested, like changing the main character that
yeah,
thrusts the
that's a
plot,
pretty
is a big change.
yeah.
I'm just more thinking in the sense of if you just make it someone we know with no other changes, that actually fixes a lot of problems, whether they actually change anything or not.
Yeah, like even with the weekly grind, if you changed it to a character we already knew about, I
That
think
kind
it's
of
massively
improves stuff.
improved. Like
Yes.
even if it doesn't, even if you don't change the pacing of the rest of the
Yeah.
show, this is still a great this would still be a good episode without it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't know how I feel at this episode. I keep like ping ponging between like a somewhat good score and a because it has good moments and it has moments that
Hmm.
actually deal with stuff we've complained about.
Yeah,
It's just
I
kind of
couldn't. I
boring to
just
watch.
couldn't. Yeah, I just couldn't get over how boring the first two parts were.
Yeah.
And as great as the third part was, like you have to get the basics right before the flourishes can kind of work.
And the episode actually had a fight. I remember almost none of it because
Yeah,
but it was
yeah,
there.
it was a it was solid. That was a solid
I would
Ghost
say
Game action
solid-ish.
piece.
It was a good action piece. It was not
It's
a
I mean,
memorable action piece.
we're not using I mean, we're not grading like off the reboot. We're grading off Ghost Game.
Oh, for Ghost Game, it's probably one of the top 3.
That's damning with faint praise, but it's yeah, that's the
No,
truth.
no, no. I see. I don't consider that damning faint praise because the show, at least up to this point, regardless of complaints, it's not necessarily an action show.
No, yeah.
So that it did action well, and that
It's
we'd
oh,
prefer more of it.
it's a
It's
good
not faint praise. It did it
it's
well. It's
good
more
to
that
see
it's more that it forgets to have the fights sometimes.
it's good to know they can pull it together.
Yes.
That's going to be important later
Yeah.
cuz they're
Um.
going to have action
Yeah.
eventually,
So then for
I
the
think.
guests, Reiji Kawashima was Yuto. That's their first Digimon role. They're probably best known from Fushi and To Your Eternity. Uh, Ajatarmon was Takako Honda. She has so many roles you actually can't make a fucking list. Like I picked like 3 things, and that was it. She's Gimme in Gurren Lagann, Toko in Guardian of Sinners, and Sasaki in Knights of Sidonia. It's what
I don't even remember who Gimme is in
the
Gurren
pink-haired
Lagann.
girl, I believe, the kid.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, at least I
Okay.
believe that's who it is. You know, the 2 kids who are always together. Oh no, no,
Yeah.
Gimme was the red-haired boy.
Okay.
The girl
Okay.
was I don't remember her name.
Which one was yeah, one was it's either
Derry.
I or
Derry, I think.
either I or Makoto. Gotcha.
That's horrible and also true. And then if you don't want to make things even more confusing, we don't know what Ghost Game is this week, but we can guess. It's a quote unquote special, A Strange World as told by Naoto Takanaka. Yeah,
clip show
yeah,
sensors rising.
yeah. So it's unnumbered. They call it a
Yay.
special. That
If it's
I
unnumbered, I don't have
now
to write a
now
review for it.
I can't decide if A Strange World as told by Naoto Takanaka is the title or if that's a description thing that they just keep using. So I'm using it as a title for now. He's the ghost navigator / narrator. He's apparently doing the special in character in live action in a mock
Which
library room.
which I'm kind of into.
Oh, you know what I'm into more? That they've dressed him up like as an old style dandy.
Yeah.
Like that fucking works. Like,
This is an aesthetic.
yeah. But like,
You don't often get a clip show with an aesthetic, so I'll give them
yes.
points for
No,
that.
exactly. Like we get the library, we get the lights, the old typewriter.
The
He
old
has
typewriter.
he has the whole like
He's
1950s UK
yeah.
dandy look to him with the
Yep.
hat.
Oh, I think it's even older than that, but like,
Well,
yeah, like
I call it 1950s because it makes me think of the Third Doctor, who had like a very similar look to him. So like when I see that type of outfit, it makes me go, okay, that's the Third Doctor. He was a dandy.
it's the third.
I'm
Yeah.
saying
Oh
it's
no,
a
the
night.
third Doctor. Yeah,
I'm saying it's a
Pertwee was absolutely a dandy.
yeah.
But yeah, either way. I'm strangely excited to watch this episode and also extremely relieved that if it's unnumbered, I don't feel like I have to write a review for it.
If we get it,
It would be
weird unnumbered special that is probably a clip show. That's kind of a coin flip. Because here's the thing, I expect us to get it for streaming. This is the type of thing where if the show ever gets dubbed, this is just gone, and that's why it's not numbered.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I hope we get it.
It would be it's I get you're right about all of those points. It would be really weird for them to tack on this preview at the end of the episode and Crunchyroll not to show it.
You're not wrong, but like it's part of the episode itself.
It's like
It's the type of thing where at some point they could just swap the pre. It's very strange. I hope we get it. Um,
I
yeah.
want just
Now here's now
I want my creepy library and my old dandy.
now here's the thing that makes me hopeful. Realistically, there's two possible reasons why this exists. One, it's meant to bridge between stuff actually happening.
Fingers crossed.
Or two, they need to push stuff back by a week because they know when breaks are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the delay because of the hack means that an episode may air right before a break that they don't want to hang.
Right.
So it's one of those things where this may be pseudo filler, and it's not a bad time to do it, regardless. But
No,
we'll see.
this, in numbered or unnumbered aside, Epmon did their clip show in 26, so
But
it's
that was an
about.
actual episode, though.
Don't remind me, I had to grade it. It did not grade well, as you can
No,
imagine.
see, you have to grade this one.
I don't have to grade
You
this one.
do, and I can prove it. The first TV special for a Digimon TV anime ever, and you're going to leave it ungraded, you would fail your audience, AR? Only the second.
Not convinced. I'm also not convinced. I'm not also not convinced this is the first ever TV special.
No, it's the first TV special for a Digimon TV anime. It's technically
Uh,
the second special. Because X
yeah,
Evolution was not a movie.
yeah, yeah.
This is the first time that Digimon has a TV special that
I
is
did check.
connected to a TV
I
series.
I mean, I did review X Evolution. Good luck finding it on my blog. I don't have a link to it or anything.
Look, I've not read your X Evolution thing. I will go ahead and narrate it right now without having seen it. C
No,
plus.
it's actually it was high. Actually, I gave it a pretty good grade. Actually,
Boo.
yeah,
So yeah, hopefully, really hope this does get subbed. It looks so stupid. I really want it.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
I want to see this.
And then in news that it feels like this happens every 2 years. Hulu is leaving Digimon. Digimon is leaving Hulu in under 2 weeks. Seasons 1 through 4, they're leaving in 13 days. I don't think there's much more to say about that.
Yeah, not right now, because one, that doesn't always end up being the case.
Yeah, there's been times when it's been scheduled to leave Netflix, Hulu, and the thing just vanishes
And
after a few days.
Yeah.
And then in the most exciting product updates, we get updates on partner products. And I'm not being facetious. So first up, they know the music box sold out way too quickly. They're going to do more of them. We get a preview of the Gatsumon Otadama, and the angle, just having it looking out.
That's a wonderful shot of Gatsumon's butt.
Yes, and then a back shot of the life-size Chibimon plush.
Not even a very glamorous shot of Gatsumon's butt.
So here's what's interesting about the Chibimon. I'm both very excited to get this, but two, it does not feel plush enough to me from the visual.
I can't tell.
Like it
I
feels like
can't
it
feel it.
feels like it has too much structure. Like you're expecting like almost more like a pillow thing, don't you think?
I mean, I can't expect the real Chibimon to be completely malleable.
But it's not the real Chibimon. Yeah. Are you okay, AR?
That was not me.
It sounds like you're tipping over.
No, that was not me.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to more of the Chibimon, and we'll be seeing more of the Ochidama, and of course the life-size Doraemon, who I'm sure we will coincidentally be Ryorai sized.
Yes.
Yes, and then Premium
The
Bandai.
That'll be the most lasting thing Rear ever generated. It's the only way you
Oh,
remember it ever existed.
that's sad and also very true. And
I
then,
mean, they didn't release the Erismon plushie. They could have avoided this.
to be fair, we don't know if there ever was an Erismon plush. The one thing that we call a plush wasn't a plush; it was foam. Like we saw like the carved foam before they put the cloth on top of it.
Either way, I don't have one, and that's a crime.
Yes, it is. I'm just pointing out that that may not be a very huggable thing. And then at Premium Bandai USA, a bunch of stuff is back up to pre-order for new waves. The Super CSA D arcs, I believe those are completely done in Japan, so this is probably your last time to get them, not from a scalper. Um, the Digimon Volume 3 and 4 figures, which same there. The bundle of the 3 normal Dynamotion figures, the fancy Virus Metal Greymon, Shoto Alphamon, and they put up the white Vital Bracelet again. I'm trying to figure out, is there anything here I would order? I don't think so. I think because all of the stuff here that I actually want, I already
You've
ordered.
already ordered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the card deluge continues. I'm so happy Don Dokomon gets a card.
Yeah, they have to give Dondokamon a card.
Yeah.
He was
Uh,
randomly featured in one of the openings, so you have to
I
show a
don't
little
think. I
Dondokamon
feel like
love.
random doesn't count. He's on screen the entire time for the second one.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I saw the openings before I watched Cross Wars, so I assumed he was like one of the main partners until I started
No,
got like
not
yeah,
not
no,
even close.
not at all.
Um,
Nope.
So then, I actually like the option card flying here on the Immortal Champion. Those are some good references. Those are Cross Wars insert songs.
Ah.
One by Watakoji, one by Takeyoshi Tanimoto. And those are like exactly the images you would expect for those songs. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just a neat little touch. Fun Digica put up a bunch of Blue Flare previews, and then when they posted them on Twitter later, they screwed up and showed us a parallel card.
Oh.
Yes. And by the time they noticed they didn't pull it, they just put up the correct card with an explanation as to what happened. And that is a very nice Metal Greymon parallel card. I like that card. Um, then we get cleaner previews of Decker Dramon and Decker Greymon. It's like the most obvious choice for a crosser set. I'm just so weirdly happy to see Decker Greymon. It's one of those weird,
Right?
like, other ones that you kind of
That's
forget.
not one I would have thought of
Yeah.
immediately to
And
put on a
then
card.
and then he gets an option card also with Plasma Decker Drill Launcher.
Seeing Decker Greymon makes me think they have to have the one where they merge everybody onto Dondokamon. And that's that one joke
Yeah.
cross in that
Uh,
one Gravimon episode.
then Skull Beluchimon. Now, weirdly, we don't normally see him in like a pose where he's not just like standing completely straight up, do we? Like that doesn't happen that often. Like actually
Yeah.
seeing him like doing stuff. His poses are almost always like all 4 feet planted perfectly and him looking like straight forward half the time.
Mm-hmm.
So actually seeing him do stuff was neat. Kokuamon gets a neat card. Gazimon gets a card that's too easy to joke off of. That's just too easy. Jessmon X is very pointy.
As he is.
Although I will say that is some really nice art. Like it's easy to joke about Jesmon X. It actually looks pretty nice.
I mean, he is a strangely aesthetically pleasing
Yes, and
Digimon for
pointy.
being as pointy
Yeah.
as he is.
Burning Star Crusher weirds me out because I have the cross figure series, the ones that actually combine. It looks more like that than anything from the show or artwork. So it kind of weirds me out, like when I look at like the head and the collar, and it looks like the toy. It's just weird. Akari and Zenjiro get art.
Yeah.
These look so nice.
Yeah, it's nice to give Akari and Senjiro some love. Is really the heart of the show, and Senjiro's there too.
He's there too sometimes. And then, hey, we get a Jatarmon before the day before appeared in the show. Then we also get Bloom, Lordmon, and Grandel Soul is one of those times when you go, the planning did not work well for these.
Hope you like greens.
No, no, no. The reason the planning does not work is he's doing Grandel Soul in both cards.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's a neat attack, but it feels like this was an oddity.
If you looked at just the art, you wouldn't be able to tell which one was
Although I will actually
the
say,
Digimon and which one was the option.
I will say this: the Bloom Lordmon art I kind of don't like. Something about the helmet like seems like weirdly elongated and positioned.
Yeah, and it just doesn't focus on the Digimon well enough. Like, I just see canon.
You should switch both of them. I think if you
Kind
switch the
of.
art for both, it
Kind
would
of.
be nicer.
Yeah.
That's very odd. And then one second here, Wes and Gowan. This is a very weird preview to me, and I don't know why. Something about it just like
He's really chonky in this.
yeah, it like I like the cartoony style, but it kind of doesn't look like Wes and Gamamon, like proportion wise.
Yeah, it's sort of it. This is if Wasn't Gamamon showed up in V Tamer.
No, next.
Yeah, maybe.
And
Uh,
then hey, Kana Weismon, Thetismon, and Lamortmon. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and say that if we go ahead and math out how many weeks Ghost Game was on break, we can probably guess when some of these will be showing up.
does that mean we're gonna get them like all at once?
No, my guess is they probably you'd probably get one like a week or two before or a week or two after. Like they plan to preview them all at the same time because we'd see in the preview that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the
Hmm.
art of all three of them, but it does feel like that this was something that was scheduled for Saturday when there was already a preview earlier in the day on purpose.
Yeah.
And we will see what that pops up.
Yeah. I have so many questions about these forms,
So
but
weirdly, does the Lamortmon art seem like off to you somehow?
I don't really have anything to compare it to. So
Yeah, I guess that's true. Something about the coloring like doesn't match the style of the other two because
if
all three of them are Nakano Haito.
if Labortmon ends up being this wild psychotic beast, then I'm all for that for a Angoramon perfect.
I'm
Like I
wait
want to know this. I want to know the story of this guy.
I'm waiting to find out because they've played that game before where they give us a visual and that is not what happens.
I just don't see this guy spouting philosophy at the end of an episode. Is all I'm saying.
Well, of course not. He'll be Angoramon again.
Now I want to see that. Lamortmon doing some random haiku that makes no sense.
And then Tinkermon and Diarkmon. These ones appear to be themed after the same way as I cannot remember the name now. Sanzomon, where they're partnered with like a team.
Mm, mm, okay.
Yeah, so I like those. Griffomon, You can tell how many people don't pay any fucking attention to Griffomon based on people noticing one thing and asking about it non-stop in the last day. It has two sets of eyes. I've seen that said more in the past 12 hours than I've seen,
Oh,
like, th-
I honestly didn't notice. I was more just impressed that because I had a nice Hoemon Griffamon fight in my story.
yeah. So Griffomon gets a card,
Glad they
and then,
focused on the tail though, because I got good use out of that thing.
well, it makes sense. It's a unique element.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah. And then Tamer's Good Set 5. It uses the joined card art from Booster Set 5 and 6 of Omegamon X and Alphamon. Makes sense for Matt. The sleeves are nice, if a bit basic.
Yeah,
Not my type of thing, but I imagine we'll see these in um, tournaments. People will be using these.
sure.
I think the sleeves especially have
Mhm.
like a nice clean look to them for an
Yeah.
event.
Yeah, it's really neutral. It's, like, nice and neutral.
Yeah. Uh, then, like we said, Fun Digico went over the blue flare stuff. Card Battle did their Sayaka strengthening project once again. And then card game producer Goto P, everyone said goodbye to him as he's leaving the card game team. It appears he's in charge of the upcoming One Piece card game.
Oh.
Let's he launched the Digimon card game. He was the one who was given the credit of revitalizing Battle Spirits, which stopped that from being canceled. Which I believe he always credited that to the Digimon collaborations, which is why he was put on the Digimon card game in the first place.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because according to people I know who like Battle Spirits, that game was like on its last legs at the time.
Mm, mm,
Yeah. Which is why Digimon got a card game, is it's ascribed pretty much to Digimon and then
yeah,
changing the
yeah. Because they got that was the one that really introduced the idea of just really sexy art
yeah.
and making a card game around that.
And then for new and more for New Century, we don't know the name yet, but this appears to be the silhouette we saw before. It's a bit hard to tell because the I don't know if that's a claw or a different mask. I think it's a different mask. This one's based on the costumes worn in the Bianlan, which is a type of Chinese opera. Basically, it's someone with a bunch of masks, and they swap them as they're doing stuff.
Ah,
So,
fun.
so we can see them with various Digimon masks and everything. And that is a weird little body. I'm looking forward to seeing this Digimon hopefully be used outside of New Century. It feels like it.
Yeah, this is one that you want to see something you want to
Yes,
see animated.
yes. Much like Blucomon, this feels like one that we will see again.
Yeah.
Mon Mon Memo went over Jogress and Susanumon from the Frontier Dims. Nothing too exciting there, minus that they are very much committed to that pseudo idea of they will only talk about Jogress or Fusion based on what the toy product says.
Mhm.
So since they say Jogress for the Vital Bracelet, they just call it Jogress for everything, but they still talk about it as if it's different things. And hey, look, Susanumon. Always nice to see him. It's other Omegamon. And then I'd say this one's fair to say we expected them to put up the Yamato and Takaru DXF figures, and like we expected, it's just they're coming out later, which was the delay.
Yeah.
These are up for pre-order. They'll be out in February. I like these, and the price is pretty good. To be for under
Yeah, price is
for under
that
$40, these are pretty nice.
yeah, that price is pretty reasonable. I might pick one of these up, and I don't usually do
Which
figures.
of the four do you think you're gonna get, if you were to just get one?
Probably. I think I'd probably do Takeru because I have a
The
Patamon.
pa-
I
the
have enough Patamon stuff.
the Patamon on that figure is really good.
It
Like,
really is.
yeah. And then for anyone who missed the 20th anniversary Taichin Agumon gem figure, that will be going up for pre-order again in a few days for a new wave of release. It is weird to think about that how long ago this actually was. This was 3 years ago.
That's it doesn't feel like it's been three
No, it
years.
really doesn't. It is strange to think about that. And then for Digimon Profile, they went over Witchelney.
Glad it got acknowledged.
What's interesting is I don't think there's anything new here except that now they're like, oh, Wisemon's from Witchelney. And it's like that's
Yeah,
never.
that's attacking. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
don't think anything else is new. I could be wrong though. Some of the smaller details may. Most of this is stuff we knew. It's stuff we forgot. Like I forgot that
yeah.
Hexablaumon's considered from Witchelney, but it actually does say he's from somewhere else. Like I'm pretty sure we knew that. Um, I feel like using Wizardmon, Flaw Wizardmon, and Sorcerymon is a bit of a cheat.
Witchelney is your home for all of the Wizardmon palette
Yes,
swaps.
yes, it is. And then the least shocking new poll ever. They did the human spirits. Now it's the beast
Might
spirits.
also be the least shocking winner.
There's a few different ones I could imagine winning here.
Really? I think this is Valgrimmon all the way. I don't think this is going to be in doubt. I can't see anyone else winning,
I
if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I could see 4 or 5 of them potentially.
Mm. Like Garmon maybe in the
But like people
conversation.
really like Kaiser Leomon.
Do they?
Yeah, and
Do they?
oddly, a lot of people really seem to like Sephirothmon.
They do. I used to really like Sephirothmon, but like I don't know if it is a weird design.
Whoever wins, we're
But
just gonna go, really? It's gonna be like Gigasmon or something.
oh god, if Gigasmon is throw the whole poll away because y'all have no
To be
taste.
fair, we kind of already do that anyways.
Uh,
Yeah,
every other one, it's like okay, I will give you a pass, but no, Gigasmon is worst.
yeah.
Worst beast spirit.
And then since the episode went up, they put up the Ajatarmon art, which we've already gotten this in high resolution before, but always nice to see it again. It really is a weird design for Digimon that works really well and feels like an interesting throwback, I think.
It's also a weird choice for a stalky love interest.
To be fair, it's not the one piece of credit I will give the episode. That isn't exactly what you would have expected to happen, where they go, this is the plot, and then this Digimon shows up. It's like, what? At least that's
Yeah,
like some
I
effort.
don't know whether to give them credit or to
I feel like that
tilt my
deserves some.
head at that.
I think you can do both.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I think that can do both. And then for questions, you guys in the chat can throw yours up. The first one's from Diego. He said, let's say the room where we see Neo Takanaka is the room where he's been narrating Ghost Game from. What does Nozawa's room for Adventure 2020 look like? A pile of money and plushies.
Oh,
And one lone
you went,
Dukemon figure.
you went, you went really literal with that one. I was trying to answer the question more sincerely and thinking it's just like this really sanitized, like the cleanest TV production room ever, like where they're trying to direct a live TV show or something. With just
Nah,
monitors all over
I'm
the place, and
I'm
it's just
going
really sanitized and kind of non, like
I'm going
very ugly.
I'm sticking with money, plushies, one Dukemon figure, and a giant statue of Goku.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say it's the in the background is the Omegamon prop from the tri-stage play.
It's weird. That's one of the few things that could probably still be around from that. because most of those puppets were made of materials that after a few years you're not going to have anything anymore.
Sure. Like that's like I hope they didn't just destroy that thing. That thing was impressive.
Honestly, when they said there was going to be a photo spot with Omegamon at the museum exhibition, I honestly thought that was going to appear again.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah. Sora wants to know, have we seen Dinotopia? I do
Are
not
we
know what
getting
that
in
is.
are we getting into have we seen random stuff questions again?
We always get random stuff questions, but
Yeah.
I can say for a fact I do not know what that is.
I There are so many random dinosaur movies that I don't know exactly which one this is. The answer is no, because I haven't seen like any of them, but there's just too many for me to
Oh,
keep
it's a
track of.
movie? I thought it was a TV show.
It could be.
I don't know. Or there could be multiple things, possibly.
Yeah, it's an
But
entire
yeah.
this
Uh,
is entire multi-million
yeah.
dollar that just
Oh, okay.
escapes our memories.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then someone wants to know, what is the one arcade machine you'd want to have? I hate this question because this is something that like I've seriously thought of. In
I hate this question because I am trying to think back to the days when I would actually willingly put money into arcade machines and like enjoy them because that doesn't happen anymore because I'm a bit of a cheapskate when I'm at arcades. Like I tend to do more like skee ball and that sort of thing,
Yeah, see,
which doesn't count as an answer. I'd probably give the other cheap answer and say like just give me a nice fully stocked Step Mania cabinet.
I keep trying to think of stuff like in my head. I go, okay, something Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons, the three screen version of X Men.
Oh, Simpsons arcade would be a good choice.
Um, but then I also
I
think, but then I also think of stuff like, have you ever played Stun Runner?
Ooh.
You have to you
Ooh.
sit on an
Yeah.
actual thing with
Mhm.
controls. Uh,
Any sort of racing game where you actually have to
yeah.
like it
So
immerses you
yeah.
into like a driver's seat situation. That's a really good
So
choice.
my answer is actually going to be a cheat because it's not an arcade game, but I feel morally it fits. So one of my childhood arcades was a place called Family Fun Zone, which is weird because it was very much like a stereotypical dark
That's
neon arcade thing.
I was gonna say that sounds like the name of an arcade that that kid shows that forgot that arcades don't really exist anymore.
Yeah, this was
They're
in
trying to
this
reuse.
was in the 90s. So in the back in the corner where like the ticket redemption stuff would be, I don't know if it was like custom built for them or if it was something that was made small batch. It had like laser guns and like a whole haunted house motif, and ghosts would light up in the various windows, and you'd shoot them for points. But like it was actually like a physical haunted house motif instead of just like a screen. And when you'd play, it'd be playing the Ghostbuster theme.
Well, if you're gonna answer with that, just give me a constantly updating escape room in the corner.
But yeah, I honestly have given this on the past, like, oh, like Donkey Kong, or there's a lot of possible answers.
Yeah, I honestly don't mind your Simpsons arcade answer. There's the place where we get takeout wings has a Simpsons arcade machine, and every so often I'm tempted to just yeah, just keep cooking our
Yeah,
order. I'm gonna be here for a
that
little
is one
bit.
of those things that the very instant there's a proper port for like Steam and it can be archived, I will buy it once and I will be 100% happy.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that's one of those where it got a few computer ports. It didn't get any console ports. It got one on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and that was it. It's gone.
Mhm.
I just need
Yeah,
on Steam once, and then I'm done.
every 20 years or so Simpsons puts out a really good video game and then like 5 bad
Although
ones.
to be fair, it is actually possible to buy that game right now, just not in a convenient fashion. Arcade One Up, they do the replica arcade things.
Oh, yeah.
You can get that for like
Yeah.
500, I think. And don't think that I have not checked sale prices on it and sit there and gone, I don't know, I could get it. It's like, am I really going to though? I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Uh, then we have a question. What do we think about Square Enix selling some of their stuff?
I have no comment because I'm
Oh,
not really following.
it feels very short-sighted and stupid. Like,
I'm
you don't know any of this, right?
I know that it happened, but I haven't really followed the
Okay. So
details.
I'm gonna give you some details. They sold Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, a bunch of back catalog titles, and some studios. St-
Oh,
stuff like
well, don't
Crystal,
do that.
stuff like Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, basically top quality studios for those type of games. They were sold to
Mm-hmm.
the company that bought THQ a number of years ago and rebranded everything and has been doing quite well. All of that got them $300 million, which does not seem like enough.
Yeah, that's not much.
And are you ready for why they need 300 million?
I think I saw this part, but go ahead.
Cryptocurrency, AI, and so forth.
Rip.
Yeah, it's like, wow, they're
They're done.
it's like you
Welcome to instant irrelevancy.
because like here's the thing. Like Legacy of Kain hasn't been relevant in a long time, but it feels like if you inject something into that, it will work again. Thief, I think they tried once like 10 years ago, but the game wasn't that good. Deus Ex has done quite well for a number of years, although I don't think there's been one in a while. Tomb Raider seems really stupid and short-sighted, to be honest.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I'm
Like you
sitting
could, yeah, there's ways to get
and
that going
I'm
again.
sitting here going, man, I hope they got Gex because they'll do something with it. I demand a
I
new
forgot
Gex with
Gex. I
Dana
forgot.
Gould.
I forgot Gex was
The second
part
one
of
was
that.
the
Yeah.
second one was really good.
Oh yeah, no, Gex
Yeah,
is fun.
because it feels like Gex would be included with this. I don't think they've said any of these smaller franchises that were included, but it feels like Gex would be one of them. So yeah, but yeah, it feels very short-sighted overall, to be honest.
I mean, any decision that is centered around crypto tends to be.
It's not just short-sighted; it doesn't feel like they got enough. Tomb Raider feels like it the studios also it just feels oddly short-sighted and not well thought out.
Yeah.
But yeah, then someone wants to know. It feels like they've seen more Ghost Game fans upset that people are judging Ghost Game as being too episodic when staff has said it's episodic. Why is it popping up more lately? I think it's popping up more
What?
late. Sorry, go ahead.
No. What's popping up more? The criticism.
No,
The criticism to the criticism.
yes, I think that's
Okay.
popping up more lately because we're hitting the point where and I think it's becoming slightly more obvious. A lot of people are just done.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and
like
it's
it.
also it's like, yes, we know it's kind of episodic, but that is such a weird thing for Digimon to
So
be episodic. Like we think about like the previous seriously episodic series like Hunters, that was only 25 episodes long and there were still like 7 plot relevant episodes in that. And here we're at episode 24 of Ghost Game and we haven't had that many, like we've had maybe 7 plot relevant
well, I
episodes.
think it's also kind of weird because while it is being judged harshly for being episodic, it's being judged for not doing it that well.
Yeah,
And
that's the
also it's not like it's actually episodic because it goes out of its way to try to be building something.
yeah, they
And it
are clearly going in some
yeah.
direction.
I think that defense is falling upon because there isn't we have not written off the show. We're like in this odd place of any given week we're kind of happy, kind of upset and whatever.
It's
But
also
but if
also because there that we know there have only been a handful of plot relevant episodes. I couldn't say for certain which ones those are based on because we don't know what's coming up
yeah.
ahead. Like there might be some critical information
No,
in
absolutely.
an episode that we completely forgot about that ends up being really important.
Yeah. But I think it's coming up more now because if you're hardcore for the show right now, the horror thing you can only use so much because that's been said since episode 1. If someone's not listening to you, they're not listening to that argument anymore. I think all that's left now is the idea that if someone hates it, well, they're just misunderstanding the show. But that,
Yeah,
but that's
and
kind. Sorry, go ahead.
the thing with Ghost Game is if if we're to get on board with an episodic Digimon series, Ghost Game is kind of hit the what it's onto something. It is really onto something that's just not hitting the notes right.
Well,
Like
that so
the characters aren't as developed or as interesting as we think they should be for an episodic series. Like we really want to love the
yeah,
characters, and I'm not quite there yet.
yeah. Well,
We're close,
yeah. So here's
but
what's weird.
it's just not clicking with all
Okay,
three of them.
it's sort of like if that's the defense of Ghost Game, that's the same. We made a similar complaint about Adventure 2020. The show was obviously meant to be high action shonen battle, but it didn't necessarily do it well episode to episode, even if the fights were good. Even if
Hmm.
the fights were generally good, they get boring without the framing to make the character stuff matter.
Yeah,
That we can
and
find. That yeah,
and that's another show where the characters were just so much weaker than you think
yeah,
they should be for than they should be for an episodic series.
yeah,
Because episodic series, you have no excuse to not
yeah.
make the main characters that show up week after week, really cool.
And we've also pointed this out before for Adventure 2020 and for other things. The staff or the show itself pointing something out does not absolve problems.
Hmm.
It's like I don't remember if if it came up when we mentioned Deadpool or something where the movie would stop to point out something unreasonable that superhero movies would do, and then it would do it 5 seconds later and wink at you. That doesn't actually mean that it didn't do it. It just means it pointed it
Yeah,
out.
it's just lampshading it.
Yeah,
That doesn't always make things better.
yeah. And
But
I
yeah, like
love the Deadpool movies, but that they've said, oh, this is going to be episodic, doesn't mean then that you change how you. If it were good, if it were amazing episodic, we'd be here every week going, oh, do this forever.
yeah, like if there's I've seen some great episodic series. Ranma's damn episodic, and that's a classic.
Ranma's super episodic. Ranma's also very easy to fall out of after 2 or 3 seasons because
Yeah, yeah, but
it's so.
we're not
Oh no,
asking anyone
absolutely.
to invest in more than 2 or 3 seasons of Ghost Game.
No,
Like
absolutely.
there's certainly a bar with Ranma where you just kind of be done with it,
Yeah,
but it like by that point you're already into 50 episodes, so
yeah,
like you can go 50 episodes of Ranma easily.
yeah. So far, I yeah. Ranma's one of the ones where it's basically like sugar candy.
Hmm.
Like you just go through it all like, man, I have no idea what the fuck happened.
I
My,
I spent I spent a whole summer once in college watching I think the first 5 seasons of Ranma, and it wasn't until seasons 4 and 5 where it was like it felt like a chore.
yeah, it happens early on, but it doesn't really like take over until later when it's just something happens and they go, okay, it's a ramen episode. It's about ramen martial arts,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just
Eventually,
wash repeat.
eventually, once you hit seasons 4 and 5, the Manatee start writing the episodes, and
Yeah,
that's not great.
but yeah, so yeah,
Also, for the first 2 or 3 seasons, there are tiny little arcs here and there. Like they're spending enough time introducing the characters that it feels like their progression, even though there really isn't.
yeah. Then Jackie wants to know if Atmon Savers and Cross Wars got anniversary merch, what theme would you like to see for each of the seasons? Like the sailor theme for Tamers. Tamers didn't have a sailor theme; it just had it for one set of merchandise.
Yeah, they still mixed it up a little bit.
Yeah,
And they
Tame.
like all did
Yeah,
and they've all done like formal stuff.
yeah.
So
As I
like
recall,
Frontier hasn't really had a what you'd
yeah,
call a theme yet.
yeah. Most of the Tamer stuff was them in suits and shit for the anniversary.
Hmm.
The sailor thing that wasn't even specific to Tamers. That was
That was
because
DigiFest.
no. That was DigiFest because it was at like a thing on the pier or something. It was like a
Yeah.
pier area. So it's one of those things where it's not necessarily going to be based on the show. It's going to be based on the season where stuff is. Like I would not be shocked if we got the weird frontier Christmas suits like we did for Tamers.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things.
Hopefully
Yeah,
dressed better.
yeah. Like
Like
Functionally, functionally,
I don't trust the Frontier kids with their fashion
yeah,
sense, but it's not a high bar to clear.
yeah,
You can
functionally
do it, kids.
for the Tamers anniversary stuff, everything that was there we got for prior stuff. There was the graph art. There was the fancier version of the graph art that used show art. There was that stuff. So I
Yeah.
expect kind of the same, to be honest. And I don't mean
Which
that in a
is
mean way, but
which is good, but because that would be my answer. Like, let's mix it up a little bit if you're gonna do little stuff here and there for a whole year. Like, just do a couple
yeah,
different things.
yeah, that's kind of what I think we expect is that we'll see stuff. It won't necessarily have anything to do with Frontier, minus the characters are there. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. Then someone wants to know, not including Digimon, what is a full reboot or remake that you think worked, and what is one that you think didn't?
Trying to think of stuff we haven't already talked about at length. I'm struggling because I have answers to those, especially the one that I think worked, but like I feel like I've talked about like the one that I think worked was the DuckTales reboot was great. That's the one I tend to go to. But I feel like I've discussed that before.
I'm trying to think. Can I give an answer for one that didn't, that I have not seen?
That's the other one. Because if we were talking about one that I have actually seen, we're back to bitching about the Voltron reboot again, and we don't need to have that conversation.
Yeah, no, the one that didn't, I was going to say the RoboCop movie.
They did another RoboCop movie?
No, they did a reboot like 10 years ago. Like a
Oh,
full
okay.
big budget
Oh, okay.
movie. And like at
Okay.
this point, basically, it's not even hated. It's basically forgotten that it exists. Like
I did not. Yeah, I did not. I do not remember that.
they did a big budget RoboCop movie like 10 years ago. 2014.
2014. Okay.
It had a budget of over $100 million.
Hmm.
Like Gary Oldman, Michael Keaton, Samuel Jackson, Jackie Earl Haley.
Holy
Na-
crap.
Name people were in it. No one remembers the movie even fucking exists because it was so nothing.
Which is strange because RoboCop is one
Yeah.
of those things that's like
Yeah.
that's mess like that. The themes of RoboCop are something that really could hit people
Well, yeah,
nowadays.
yeah. I just sent you the wiki link, and you'll see the post. You go, oh yeah, no one ever would have given a shit about this.
Oh God, that looks like Batman and Robin designs there.
Yes, yeah, but yeah,
He's got an 8-pack. He's shredded.
yeah, but yes, they did a big budget RoboCop reboot, and a bunch of people literally don't remember it exists if they ever knew it existed in the first place. Like
I couldn't
with
I
name
couldn't tell
actors,
you which category I fall in.
like with name people, like
This might have also been before I
like
realized how interesting RoboCop
like
was
my like
as the
Mike
original one.
like Michael Williams is in it. Michael Williams is one of the great actors. Like the number of like top tier famous or just like actors in this, and like it has no memory.
Did not register at all.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. That's the one I did because I love RoboCop. I had no effort to see it. Are you ready? The marketing was so bad they did a fancy remaster of the original film and released it as a discount Blu-ray right before the movie came out.
Oh no.
And it was actually a good disc. Are you ready? I can sell that disc to any anime fan with no effort. Are you ready for the pitch?
Mhm.
The disc has all three Japanese dubs of the first RoboCop movie.
Wow.
They dubbed that movie into Japanese three
That's
different times with people you would know from anime and other stuff.
sure.
Because it's one of those things where it was like dubbed for a TV network, and the TV network had the rights for years, so they would then dub it for somewhere else for
Yeah.
VHS, and then the DVD would get a different dub.
Mhm.
For one that I actually think worked, a reboot that worked. Here's the problem: there's a lot, but like mentally, it's sometimes hard to think of like
one that is particularly standing out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think
Like,
here.
that's why I tend to always go back that's why I go back to DuckTales, because that one I just rewatched that a few months ago, and it's not perfect, but it really they update the storytelling in a really, really smart way, and I appreciate that.
Oh, okay, I got a good one. The 2012 cartoon of Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Because that one had to try. One, Paramount owned it at that point, but also, like, you have to mix in decades of expectation, and it was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Like, it has its own theme song, which was good, but their cell phone ringers in the show were beeps of the original theme song.
Mhm.
So it had nice little touches like that. And I'm going to throw in a bonus, something that I think should never be rebooted, even though they keep trying. There's no reason to reboot Highlander. It's built into the franchise that you don't need to do that. It is literally
There
it is literally a franchise that exists that there's no reason to reboot it because that's just what the franchise is.
yeah.
Like
There can be only
li- like
one.
like like let's ignore that there's a lot of movies that are bad that have been ignored in that franchise.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
the first movie with a guy. I'm skipping names just like guy. The TV show's a different guy, but the movie guy shows up to pass the torch. You can just do that again. In fact,
Mhm.
Adrian Paul kills Christopher Lambert in the fourth movie. So yeah.
I mean, but at that point, it's like, it's like it's not technically a reboot or remake.
No,
It's
but
just a
that's what I'm saying.
continue.
But what
It's
I'm
sort of a spirit. It's like it's a spiritual
no.
revival. It's sort
But
of
what
like
I'm saying is they
showing.
keep trying to actually reboot it, like make a reboot movie.
Oh, completely starting over.
Yes, like
Oh,
that's what I'm saying,
that's
and
just
they're like, oh, it will be about Connor McLeod, but Connor McLeod if he was now. And it's like there's no reason to reboot Highlander. It's built
that
into the
feels very.
franchise.
It feels very. That feels
Stupid.
very '90s Doctor Who movie.
To be fair, that counts.
I know that's what's weird.
Yeah, but
It's
yeah,
always struck me as weird that that still
yeah.
counts.
Let's see.
Doctor Who always
Oh,
tries to
oh,
make everything and
okay.
nothing count at the same time.
Ramon has a good one. Ramon wants to know: did Ajatarmon remind you of Poison Ivy based on what she was doing?
Does now.
I don't think that was by accident. And in fact, when I was looking at episode titles, the first thing I did was I went to Batman and Robin quotes.
Uh-oh.
I didn't end up using one.
Okay.
Yeah, but I that was the
Poison Ivy doesn't have nearly as good ones as Mr. Freeze
yeah.
does.
That's the problem is all of her quotes are like speeches,
Mhm.
and Arnold gets like the quips. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
just classic Arnold
Yeah.
quips, and Poison Ivy gets Poison Ivy's like not a
Yeah.
halfway bad
Uh,
character in that movie, which gets lost because it's Batman and Robin.
okay, here's a great question from Sora. Will we get another mystery box episode? I don't care because mystery boxes are lazy.
Yeah.
It
Also because we've done two already,
yeah.
and
The problem with mystery boxes are generally speaking, the clues don't matter and it's just whatever they want to do and it's just the idea of, ooh, look, it's a box.
yeah.
And even if you figure it out, the crew lies to you. That came up with the second Star Trek reboot movie. Everyone figured out what the mystery box was, and they just kept trying to lie about it and go, "Oh no, we wouldn't do that." No, Benedict Cumberbatch isn't playing Khan. That wouldn't make any sense. He was playing Khan, and it didn't make any sense. If you it's a movie that does not work if you know the twist, and that's my issue with mystery boxes in general. Is the box kind of is superfluous to the plot. So yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and since it was asked in chat, yes, the first RoboCop movie did get 3 different Japanese dubs. As shot,
It's shocking, and yet I can see how that
no,
could happen.
exactly. The you need to track down the Blu-ray from 2014. It has all 3 of them. If you set the language of your Blu-ray player to Japanese, it sends you to a different menu because it's the same disc for different countries. Then someone wants to know we know who won, but if you could pick any life-size Digimon plush to get made based on the rules that were of eligibility for that poll, who would you have picked? I think you were on record as actually wanting Offmon even before we knew Offmon won or was in the running, didn't you?
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
Offmon actually was like the one you wanted to see.
He's friend shaped,
Yeah,
yes.
and I may be wrong. I think I actually said Chibimon, didn't I? Like,
I don't remember.
I think Chibimon was actually the one that I picked. Um,
I mean, it's like at this point, I do have a what's probably a life-size Gigimon plush.
I think Dev said Chibimon also, actually. Yeah.
My partner who does not know the rules would not be eligible for the votes. Wanted to chime in and say Lady Devimon would be their choice for
Yeah,
exactly the reasons you think.
I can understand the choice. I'm gonna go ahead and say that one would not win, just based on the fact that they said Gilmon was too big.
It's not who we want to win; it's who we'd want.
But I thought it was who we'd want based on the eligibility.
Right. I'm saying that eligibility aside,
Yeah.
that is
Oh, well, yeah.
that's
We all have choices outside of, like,
yes. I mean, we all want a life-size Mugendramon plush. That goes without saying.
you joke, but that's the one people would probably actually pick if it was
Who
we're
says I'm not? Who says I'm
if it
joking?
was like, okay, we're gonna make 10 20-foot tall plushies. They're all gonna be the same Digimon. Vote for who it is, but it has to be someone who you could reasonably say would make sense as a 20-foot plushie. Mugendramon would win.
Also, if you hugged it, it does Dev's that Kirby Infinity Cannon that impersonation Dev did a couple weeks ago.
To be fair, they make giant Kirby plushies that make that noise, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, neither of us can do it quite like Dev
No,
does.
yeah, we're missing Dev
Yeah.
here, but
Uh, Last question. Someone wants to know, what do we think of Spyro? I haven't played much of them. A lot of platforms in that era I just didn't like because there were better ones out. So as well.
my partner picked it up, or I got it for them for
Oh, the
Christmas.
remake one.
Yeah, well, the collection
Yeah,
for a Switch a while
I know
ago, and
people liked it.
I've seen them play it, and it just like it just passed my it just I
Yeah,
missed the time when I would be interested in it. It just looks like a standard like N64
yeah.
collectathon type of 3D
It's
platformer that I'm just not into that.
yeah, it's super weird because like when Spyro originally came out, that was functionally my exact response to it, and I've never really changed. And yet, for some reason, I decided Gex 2 I loved, even though it's not good. Like, very
Yeah,
odd.
it's
I think Gex 2 hooked me because it had the weird humor and quotes.
mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no, it
like,
does.
yeah.
That's
The game itself is Junior Mario
Gex
64.
is okay. Gex 2 is 3D.
Yeah, Gex 2 is the first
Okay.
3D one.
I think I've only seen the first one
Yeah,
then.
and hey, who Dana Gould is always a good comedy pick.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But yeah, 3D platformers don't really I struggle to get into those. I bought a Hat in Time and it is charming as hell. It won me over and I still dropped it after like 2 days.
I think I own that and never played it. I think.
It is charming. It is amazingly charming, like, even if you don't like 3D
I do
platformers, and
own
it
this.
just and I just I just struggle with the gameplay, and it's like, "Nope, I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry."
Yeah, it's weird cuz 3D platformers, if you don't, regardless of anything in the game, if you don't 100% agree with the controls,
Yeah.
then you kind of go
If
done.
the yeah, if the controller and the camera don't meet your taste, then it's just not
Yeah. Yeah,
enjoyable
I need to
after a while.
play. I bought one like a year ago that looked good. You play as a mole mailman.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, like I saw it, it looked fun. I just have not had the time to play it, but it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I 100% would like to play it at some point. Holy
I played a
crap!
little. I played a little Mario Odyssey at No Brand Con. That looked pretty good.
Oh,
I might get there.
Mario Odyssey is really good.
Yeah,
Like,
that one I think is gonna pass the sniff test.
yeah, there's that. There we go. I sent AR the picture of
Oh,
it.
that is cute.
Male mole.
Male mole.
It will not let me paste it into the chat because the URL is too long.
It's fine.
Yeah,
The image is good enough for me.
yeah. So that is it for questions. AR, what have you been up to? What will you be up to?
I've been doing a lot of con work the last couple of weeks, so I'm not going to be quite as focused on Digimon stuff
Uh,
in the near future. But I am on Twitter at First Agent ARP, Tumblr at firstagent.tumblr.com, and yeah, that's about it. Oh, also I can confirm my time for my Digimon panel at Anime Central. It will be at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So if you're in Chicago for that, please stop by.
would you say you're enjoying that con life?
Yeah. No, it's been fun. I actually am. Con life is
Good.
fun.
Uh, Dev should be back next week. Like we said, she's not feeling well. She will feel better. In her stead, I will pick the laziest one possible, as she would. Go read the Wikimon article for Ajatarmon.
Oh, that is lazy. I was gonna say Biolotusmon.
See, I would have picked Palmon and gone, it's been a weird planty week because we get
Yeah,
Ajatarmon,
it just
Bloom
feels like a plant.
Lordmon, we talked about a bit.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it's Biolotusmon. It's like
Yeah,
just feels like got lost in the shuffle in that because it just feels like she'd be a good.
yeah.
Feels like she should be in the conversation somehow when we're talking about psychotic plant
Okay,
types.
before we go, we got one more question. This one's from me because I just thought of it. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
No, this is a good one. We're we have a good number of the cards for Booster Set 10. Do we get Gumdramon or do they save him for something else?
I
At this
At
point,
this
at
point I
this point,
think they save him
yeah, I don't think
because
they
I
use him at this point. I don't even know if there's any
because
slots left he could fit into. Actually,
if you don't have if you don't have because there's a couple other like main crosswords kids and tamers and main partners that kind of need to get in there still. So I think that I think that you have to save Gumdramon, and then you can kind of do a little bit of a hunter's theme, like maybe a sub theme in a future set. Because I mean, I don't want to just see like Gumdramon and Tagir. I want to see the whole gang
no,
show
you're
up.
right.
I want to abuse a Ryoma card,
Yeah,
which you just know is going to be purple.
yeah, it yeah, that came to mind. I said, oh, we need to finish with that because yeah, it does feel like they're saving because that is also the weird thing is when you think about it, there actually are plenty of hunters characters they could do a set around.
There's so many hunters
Yeah,
characters. Yeah, because there's like you've got I mean, I'm assuming they're going to have a Nene card still. I assume that's coming up. But
I believe there's slots left for two tamers
okay, so
left.
Nene and you would be
Yeah,
what I'd guess.
that's exactly what I guess. Because well, one,
Unless they pull a curveball and throw us a Katone, which I would love, but
I would say no because we've gotten multiple cards based around
we got a
Damimon.
Damimon. Yeah, we've got a
Yeah,
Damimon. So
yeah. It, the tamers we haven't seen them all. There's definitely slots for exactly two left, and
yeah,
I'm not expecting a
that's you and
surprise there.
it's gonna be Nene and
Yeah.
you.
So and I can be found at with the as always. We will catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.